Hello everyone, myself Prasoon Kashyap from IPGA Student Forum, and today we bring you a very informative video on latest update information related to COVID-19 pandemic. It is indeed an act of bravery and great deeds for the doctors and nurses who are working as frontline warriors to fight against the unseen enemy, the COVID-19 pandemic. Along with them, all the other healthcare workers are assisting them to win this triumphant war of science and humanity over the destructive virus. Pharmacists are serving humanity in trying to win this battle by developing new drugs and vaccines for the treatment of this disease that will ensure your patients to improve their mental health and overcome the COVID-19. Now we're going to be talking about drugs and vaccines that all these tireless efforts have given rise to. We're going to be starting with Covaxin. Covaxin, developed by Hyderabad-based Bharat Biotech in collaboration with Indian Council of Medical Research and National Institute of Virology, is India's first indigenous COVID-19 vaccine. The Controller General of India has permitted this vaccine to go under human clinical trials. India is one step ahead for finalizing of COVID-19 vaccine that has been domestically developed at a time when country's cases continue to surge. Studies and demonstration have shown safety and immune response that has already started across the country since the month of July 2020. After the preclinical trial, Phase 1 and Phase 2 clinical trials of vaccine, SARS-CoV-2 has been approved. Talking about the development process of this vaccine, a strain of novel coronavirus was isolated from a COVID-19 patient who was asymptomatic and was transferred to BBIL early in May by National Institute of Virology. It was further used to develop an inactivated vaccine by the firm, a vaccine containing a dead virus at its high containment facility in Hyderabad. Since it's a killed virus, it has no potential to either infect or replicate after getting injected into a human through vaccination. It just provides service to the immunity of the body as a dead virus that mounts an antibody response towards its specific kind. Now on information related to the clinical trial phase. Usually conducted in a small group of around 375 people, Phase 1 tries to find whether a vaccine's proper dosage that is safe for use and whether it's effective in building the immunity to the virus and whether there are side effects or not. On a group of hundreds of people fitting the description for those whom the vaccine is intended, using characteristics like age and sex, Phase 2 is conducted. This phase tests, however, how effective the vaccine actually is on the population group being studied. Based on success rates of Phase 1 and Phase 2, we will progress to the larger clinical trials. On thousands of patients, Phase 3 is conducted. After approval from regulator, the firm has to continue monitoring the use of its vaccine on patients and submit post-marketing surveillance details, with checks on any long-term unintended adverse effects. The next drug we're going to be talking about is desidustat. It has received approval from Mexico's regulatory authority, COFEPRIS, to test one of its lead research candidates in the management of COVID-19 by the drug firm Zydus Cadila. Avanza Research Center, a leading contract research organization headquartered in Monterrey, Mexico, has executed clinical and regulatory development of desidustat in COVID-19. The company will be conducting a Phase 2B multi-center, open-label, randomized and comparative control study to evaluate the efficacy and safety of the desidustat for the management of COVID-19 patients. As a part of study, 100 mg tablets of desidustat will be administered for a period of 14 days along with recommended standard care during the trial. How does it work? Patients infected with COVID-19 have been reported to display signs of hypoxia and leading to organ failure and death despite the use of antiviral, anti-inflammatory drugs or ventilators. The attack with novel coronavirus pneumonia will cause less and less hemoglobin that can carry oxygen and carbon dioxide. The lungs still have been reported to develop an extreme and intense poisoning and inflammation due to the inability to exchange carbon dioxide and oxygen frequently, which eventually results in ground glass-like lung images. Desidustat, a hypoxia-inducible factor propyl hydroxylase inhibitor, which is currently undergoing phase trials, mimics the psychological effect of altitude on oxygen availability. At high altitudes, the body responds to lower oxygen availability with stabilization of hypoxia-inducible factor, and this can lead to increase in RBC production and improved oxygen delivery to the tissues. Zydus has initiated 2 Phase 3 trials of desidustat. Desidustat has previously met its primary endpoints in Phase 2 clinical studies and showed good safety profile. The Phase 1 trial were earlier completed in Australia. The next drug we're going to be talking about is remdesivir. Remdesivir, an antiviral drug which is a nucleotide analog prodrug, inhibits viral RNA polymerase, has shown in vitro activity against the SARS-CoV-2. When it should be used? Given to hospitalized patients on oxygen with moderate COVID-19, having a creatinine clearance above 30 ml per minute and serum levels of alanine aminotransferase and aspartate aminotransferase less than 5 times the upper limit of the normal range. Talking about what it does. Remdesivir is a prodrug of nucleotide analog that is intracellularly metabolized to an analog of adenosine triphosphate that inhibits viral RNA polymerase. It speeds recovery by shutting down viral replication in the body. Hospitalized patients given remdesivir were discharged generally within the 11 days on average, compared to 15 days on patients on standard care. Remdesivir has broad spectrum activity against the members of several virus families, including the filoviruses and coronaviruses, and has shown prophylactic and therapeutic efficacy in non-clinical models of these coronaviruses. Intravenously in ICU, Gilead Sciences is working on an inhaler, and the mode of delivery is used is intravenously. The next drug we're going to be talking about is favipiravir. For the treatment of mild to moderate COVID-19 patients, drug major Glenmark Pharmaceuticals has become the first Indian company to commercially launch an antiviral drug, favipiravir, with the brand name FaviQ. Glenmark successfully developed the active pharmaceutical ingredient and the formulation for FaviQ through its own in-house R&D team. Glenmark filed the product for clinical trial with India's drug regulator DCGI and became the first pharmaceutical company in India to receive approval for conducting phase 3 clinical trial on mild to moderate COVID-19 patients. Glenmark has received manufacturing and marketing approval from India's drug regulator, Drug Controller General of India, making FaviFlu the first oral favipiravir approved medication in India for the treatment of COVID-19, and also launched the product in Indian market. It is orally administered, so it serves a more convenient treatment option over other IV administered medication. Favipiravir is approved in Japan since 2014 for the treatment of novel and re-emerging influenza virus infections. It has a unique mechanism of action. It is converted into an active phosphoribosylated form in cells, and it is recognized as a substrate by viral RNA polymerase, thereby inhibiting the RNA polymerase activity and inhibits the activity of viral replication to reduce the viral load. The antiviral offers broad-spectrum RNA virus coverage with clinical improvement noted across the age group from 20 to 19 years. Favipiravir can be used in COVID-19 patients with comorbid conditions such as diabetes, heart disease, with mild to moderate COVID-19 symptoms. It offers a rapid reduction in viral load within 4 days and provides faster symptomatic and radiological improvement. The drug will be available as a prescription-based medication for Rs 103 per tablet, with the recommended dose being 1800 mg twice on day 1 and followed by 800 mg twice daily up to day 14. The next drug we're going to be talking about is dexamethasone. Dexamethasone has proved to be a life-saving drug against the COVID-19 virus as claimed by medical experts in the United Kingdom. Scientists state that the low dose of dexamethasone, which is a steroid treatment, is a major breakthrough in fight against the coronavirus. The WHO General Director, Dr. Tedros Adhanom Ghebreyesus, congratulated the Oxford study for their life-saving scientific breakthrough. The drug lowered the death risk from 40 to 28% for patients on ventilators and from 25 to 20% for those requiring supplemental oxygen over 28 days. There were no substantial side effects, and it did not help mild COVID-19 cases without any breathing issues. The Oxford Recovery Trial tested dexamethasone, lopinavir-ritonavir, hydroxychloroquine and azithromycin in a randomized placebo-controlled manner. Out of all of them, dexamethasone emerged triumphant in preventing the COVID-19 death. On the biochemical level, if you're talking about, glucocorticoids easily diffuse through the host cell membrane and bind to the glucocorticoid receptor in the cell cytoplasm. The receptor binding triggers a cascade reaction that ends up suppressing pro-inflammatory cytokinins. Importantly, 5 of the cytokinins are linked to the COVID-19 severity. A 2019 study has also shown that dexamethasone prevents human alveolar cells from destruction by pro-inflammatory cytokinins. Dexamethasone has an Indian connection. The drug, which has been claimed as a cheap solution to COVID-19, manufactured by Zydus Cadila Healthcare, is based out of Ahmedabad.